Three. Hi, everybody. Welcome to YOLO with ToLo. It is episode 43. And I can't wait to get Lonnell on and chat a little bit about what's going on today. So, episode 43. Last week we talked about our year in review because it was our 1 year anniversary. It's our anniversary. And then this week, we are talking about one of my favorite quotes that I've heard Lonnell said, a Shawshank Redemption quote that Lonnell has talked about many times on the show. It's basically get busy living or get busy dying. And it hit home. It hit home because several of us have faced like sudden deaths or people being diagnosed with either cancer or brain tumors in our lives. Both me, Lonnell, and by the way, Kevin is producing today. So Kevin and Lonnell recently lost friends that they love and adore. And hey, Anosha from Rome, what's up, Anosha? Okay, let's see if we can get Lonnell on. Let me add him right quick. And let's get rolling. Uh, let's see.
Hello.
Hey, can you hear me?
I
I'm
can
fine.
hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
And you're not echoing.
Yes, not echoing.
Praise
Hey.
the Lord. Thank you,
Cheers.
Facebook.
Cheers. Anosha says, "What's up from our new home in Rome?"
Ah,
She's in
Roma.
Rome. I know. I'm so excited to hear about
But
your
I'm happy
adventure.
for you. I'm very, very happy for her. That's so awesome.
I know, right? Anosha was inspired by life, age. They say black don't crack and Asian don't raise, and she's just blessed with being beautiful, half black and half Thai. And anyway, so she recently quit her job, corporate job in London, moved. She said she was partly inspired by us, her husband, and just her like angst to like get up and move forward. Um, and Anosha and I are childhood friends, and we came from a place where the schools and neighborhoods and things were not the best. And so it's so easy to just be like scared and not really know your power. But anyway, she's been living in London for well over a decade now, and now she finally made the move. And today we're talking about, in honor of spring, we're talking about now is the time. If y'all at home have been waiting to quit that job, make sure you have a plan. Even if it's a plan not to have a plan, but make sure y'all think it through. But or is it to tell that person that you that friend or that person that you love them, think that through, and just time to take action. And one of my favorite quotes is "Get busy living and get busy dying." Where did you hear that? Was it Shawshank Redemption, and when?
Yes.
And how does that change your life?
Get busy living or get busy dying. It was a scene when the main character like is in the prison when he gets there and he's talking to Morgan Freeman, and he's telling him, you have to make a choice. So I first heard it at a very pivotal point in my life, like years ago, and it was literally like I was in my head what was perceived to be a life or death situation, and I had to make a choice, and I was like, okay, so either I get busy living or get busy dying, and I'm like, I'm too young to be get busy dying, so I got a lot of living to do, and really from that moment on, I just really just tried to live each day to the fullest.
Yeah.
And just like, okay, if this is the last day, well, what? Because it very well could be. So
yeah. And Kevin was mentioning too. You both were actually mentioning separately that you're going to a funeral this Saturday. Unexpected death, right?
Yep.
Young friend.
Yep. Mid-40s.
And what happened again? Do you have more details? Cancer. Okay.
Yes.
And then Kevin was saying one of his church buddies, young, CrossFitter, works out, takes care of himself more than a lot of people take care of themselves, heart attack and died, left behind 2 kids and a wife. And I just got a message from a friend, Shannon. We used to work at the OG, the Olive Garden together back in the day. And she now, she does like real estate investments and development and a realtor in upstate New York. And I was like, hey, next month I'm there for a speaking gig. Let's hang out. And she was like, yes. It's been hard for us to even get each other on the phone. And she was like, one of her messages was, Toan, take care of yourself. And I was like, where's this coming from? Like you're going to drop a bombshell on me? She's like, one of her really good friends was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and they're trying to figure out if it was cancerous or not. And I think so many times we're stricken with fear, and we are choosing to If we're not taking those little baby steps to go forward, we are, I think, dying a little bit inside.
Each day you do.
Yeah.
You absolutely do. And it's critical to recognize the difference and which energy you're moving towards.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of times you may not necessarily be aware of it.
Yes.
But you need to make yourself aware of it.
But you know, one of the things that I feel like really helped me is that like Anosha and I have talked a lot about like taking these steps, taking action. And sometimes it's okay to be scared at the moment, but you know you got to take those baby steps to do it. It's not going to like happen all at once. And having a tribe is really important. Hey Fiona, she says, "Hey beautiful people."
Hey, Fiona.
From the UK. And Fiona's another person that reminds me to listen to that gut feeling that is like you said, that Oprah told you, the whispers. Listen to those whispers because they're guiding you. Listen to that thing that makes you excited or not excited.
Every time. And listen to it the first time. Don't wait till it gets too loud. Then by that time, it's going to be harder to deconstruct and get yourself back on the right path. So listen to it the first time. When the very first whisper, be like, okay, I hear you.
But doesn't that come with age and wisdom, right? I mean, if you're diagnosed with diabetes or you're diagnosed with high cholesterol or something, you need to get busy on that treadmill or do something, right? I'm not trying to throw shade. But anyway, before you get into segment 1, the ToLo's hot topics, what's up with you? What's new?
It's just good to be home. I mean, like you mentioned earlier, I have this funeral that I have a memorial service that I'm attending in Florida on Saturday. I had a knee injury last week, so I spent a lot of time in the bed. It was horrible, but it reminded me of a lot of things spiritually, because those things are always designed to get your attention.
Yeah.
And so now I had a quick trip to Chicago for a business meeting yesterday, and so now I'm home today enjoying this beautiful spring.
Yeah, it is gorgeous. It is gorgeous out here in San Francisco, and we've had a lot of rain recently. But wait, going back to your knee, what happened? Like, I remember you messaging me and saying that you just couldn't get up.
Right, literally. So the only thing we could come up with was it had to be something I was doing in the gym, because that was the only, I didn't bump my knee. That was the only time I was exerting myself physically. And literally I had gone 5 days in a row, and then took the 6th day off. And then the 7th day, that Monday morning, I could not walk when I got out of the bed. I was like, this is not cute. And so I'm hobbling around everywhere. You just don't ever take your good health for granted. So I saw a doctor, they like x-rayed it and everything to make sure that it was okay. And there was no big swelling or anything. So it gradually got better each day. So it's not quite 100%, but it's like at a good 98. Tomorrow I'm going to go back and try to work out again. I had plans tonight. Otherwise I would try it tonight.
Good. I'm glad you're feeling better. And do not attribute it to working out, boo, because you have not been working out a lot. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe that was the problem.
Maybe, yes. Okay.
My body was in shock. Like, well, where you been?
Yeah, true that. Sassy Mary Kay, hey, she says, where are you at, Sassy Mary Kay? She says, what is the topic? Today we're talking about now is the time. It's spring, so in honor of spring and the spring equinox, we're talking about getting busy living or getting busy dying. So
it's a new season. You can make a new choice.
New season, new reason. Anyway, okay, let's go to ToLo's topic number 1. Well, not number 1, segment number 1, ToLo's hot topics. So happy spring, y'all.
Happy spring.
What I would love to ask you guys at home and you, Lonnell, is springtime. People always talk about spring cleaning. Maybe it's the only time some people ever clean. But what kind of rituals, like, do you personally, professionally, spiritually do, or do you do nothing? Like, do you actually clean up? What do you do?
I do, but I don't necessarily do it under the deadline of spring. Like, I know when things are, like, for my spring cleaning, it may not happen in the spring. It could happen in the dead of winter. So I'm the type that I don't necessarily do it under the deadline. But when I realize something is out of alignment, I will work to get it back into alignment. So sometimes, like, recent project, which just happens to coincide with spring, has been literally donating a ton of my clothes and getting stuff out of my closet, because literally I've been buried under this weight, right? And so that happened a couple of weeks ago, kind of in alignment with spring, but not necessarily. I didn't do it because it was like, oh, it's spring cleaning, let me go get my life together. It's like, no, boo, your life was a mess 2 weeks ago. That's when you should have started. So, and that's when I did start, when I got the first whisper or inkling.
Mm. So God's telling you stop shopping too much, boo.
I didn't hear that message, but I'm like, let these clothes be a blessing to someone else.
Basically, shut up.
That's what I'm doing. I'm giving to others, so I'm blessing
Yeah.
others.
You know what I've been
How about
doing too?
yourself?
Yeah, I've been actually donating a lot of stuff. You know, after I had, you know, back in the day, I had lost 4 family members in a year's time. And I was holding on to all my clothes. I had clothes from like junior high school. I mean, talk about immigrant mentality, right? Um, and so finally, I did some cleaning once and I got rid of like literally 7 55-gallon bags of clothes. And so people make fun of me, but really the Marie Kondo book that I discovered like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, like I got rid of a lot of clothes. And speaking about working out, since I started CrossFit like 7 years ago, um, like a lot of the clothes don't fit me. Like I'm too big up here, and then down here it's gotten smaller, so I've like had to either donate the clothes or like try to resell them. Um, so you know, so I don't have a ton of clothes, but I do love like little tchotchkes. This is my home. It's like decorated. I see you got like, you know, a lot of like little decor stuff with your books and stuff there too. But you know, it's a constant process of trying to like clean out my space. But I feel like it's not just spring that I'm reminded of being either in the, because to me being in the present moment is one of the most important things for me. So I have little moments like when my friend talked about, you know, her friend getting diagnosed with a brain tumor, or your friend or Kevin's friend or my friend passing away. Those are all constant reminders. And I think every day there's you know, we can clean something from our physical life and our, you know, spiritual life. And I feel like it's almost like every Wednesday to me, or whenever we talk. Some Wednesdays when we're traveling, we can't talk, but whenever we do connect, it's a sort of like renewal and I can't even talk, re-energizing kind of feeling for me.
Right. Yeah. So have you been doing any, I know you talked about some other type of cleansing or any fasting or anything like that?
Shut up. I know you want to try to throw shade at me for fasting. Something new I've been trying is intermittent fasting. If y'all don't know about intermittent fasting, it's quite interesting. But you know, you could just do you, boo. You do what you want. You research what you want. Make sure you check with your doctor first. But I just feel like I tend to eat when I'm either stressed or when I'm with family or friends. I eat a lot, you know. So a good way to counterbalance it is take control of what I eat and don't eat, you know, whenever I'm by myself. And so um, an easy way to think about it, Anosha actually turned me on to this as well, was that certain people have different methods you can research. For me, I try to do 1 day a week in the last month of 24-hour fasting. There's a lot of scientific things that's good for you, but because basically, like your body, we're eating too much, as you know, during the day and all the time. Now that we have, you know, technology at our beck and call, you can like, I don't use these apps that like send you food, Grubhub or anything. But long story short,
I
um,
do.
just spend so much money doing that. I'm a cheap Asian. Yeah,
Uh,
Timothy says he emotionally eats too. But yeah, so what can we do to be mindful of these things in our life, whether it's digital detoxing and or eating too much? And so if you can, for the people that like have sort of my either like build or lifestyle, I mean, if you can think about it of not eating for a 16-hour window and just eating it within an 8-hour window, there's a lot of shut up, look at your face, you're
I
like,
never said
that's a
anything.
shady face, you're like you're not buying it. Well, anyway, just all I got to say is all you got to do is just not for try 3 times a week for you. I'm talking to you, Lonnell. 3 times a week, just eat in the 8-hour window, and you can do it when you're working. I mean, when you're working, you're working. You're not eating away,
I
right?
guess. Yeah, I typically eat when I'm hungry. And that, you know, that may be more than 3 times a day. I mean, I have done fasting before, and I've done intermittent fasting, and I have seen results
I've seen
uh,
great results.
from doing that. I'm just, you know, I'm working to get back into that space. Not
Okay.
there yet.
I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying it works for me. There's been, there's, scientific data that, I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I can't break down what it does on the cellular or mitochondria level. Obviously, I did
If
not.
nothing else, it's just the discipline of being able to do it, and we all need a form of discipline in our
Absolutely.
lives. So
That's what it's
definitely.
about. It's about calorie intake, and the exerting your, like how many calories you burn, and that's basically it. But this works for me. I just don't feel as bloated. It feels good most of the week. So anyway, Timothy earlier here said we're getting a lot of discussion. It was awesome. Let's see. Timothy says, I have an addiction to art and work, and I've collected so much. My closets are so packed that I need to donate them to a good cause.
Yeah, I need to come over to your house, Timothy.
If y'all want to donate some money, I can give you my my Zelle account number.
Okay, right. But it is true. You do have to, you especially because I travel a lot and I just accumulate crap from just all over the world. Yeah. And so now after some point, I'm like, okay, you don't need all this stuff. So yeah, it's true. You accumulate it, but yes, you want to downsize.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just about, like, again, you do you, boo. Like, you do what works for you. It's like one way doesn't, like your way of Marie Kondoing may not be my way. And, it's harder for us people who, Timothy, are creative or artists and Fiona is an artist. It's like we love collecting little, like, rocks and, like, sticks and, like, I don't know, incense and a bunch of stuff. Anyway, let's jump to Dump the Hump.
Dump the Hump.
Tim, spread the love, Kevin says. Okay, so the big question we have for you guys today and for you and me, Lonnell, is, so what are the top 3 things that we deem are most important in our life? A lot of people say spending more time with family and friends, fiscal, like make more money, fiscal fitness, and physical fitness. But the question here is, like, what are we all doing? Like, what is going to make that thing click? That's what I'm interested in after this conversation, of people taking action, of doing something. And I started CrossFit 7 years ago because I was sick and tired of my pants were getting tighter. I just didn't feel good huffing and puffing, walking upstairs and things like that. So I was like, you know what? Every time I noticed a pattern, and I was like, every time I get really busy, which happens more often than not, I all of a sudden, like, oh, that workout could wait. I'll do it later. And I realized, nope. First thing in the morning, I'm going to get up and do it most days. So I've been doing it pretty much like at least 5 days a week. So, and Kevin says, and you wanted to become a handstand master? I don't know what kind of shade that you're trying to throw. I do love my handstand
Instagram stories.
I do love my handstand classes. So what about you, Lonnell?
For me, similar to you would be health. And you always get those physical indicators, like walking up a flight of stairs and being out of breath. It's like, wait, that's unacceptable. But yeah, especially in light of the knee injury that I just had, definitely being grateful and mindful of my health. So definitely that one. For me, the other 2 would be joy and my spiritual alignment. And you would probably, because if I've got those things in order, if I'm pursuing the things in my life that bring me joy, and if I am in spiritual alignment, everything else, the physical stuff, the health stuff, even relationships, all that other stuff falls in line because they kind of all fall under that umbrella. So I know for me, if I can just keep myself steady and rooted in things that bring me joy, rooted in making sure that I'm taking care of my body temple and being spiritually aligned, then the rest of it all just falls into that. So for me, that's what I found to work over the years, over the many, many years.
I just say taking little steps towards something every day. Like, I'm putting this out there for the first time. I'm kind of scared to say it, but I am working on a book. And so the book, I want the first draft to be done by July.
All right.
Before I go to
now you put it into the universe, so you'll have to work.
I know. I'm also putting the universe for money just to come flowing in all the time, so I could just give it away and help people with it and help myself with it. What do you think? Yeah. You're like, okay.
Why not?
Yeah, but you're right. Doing things that bring me joy. And Anosha was saying right here, like, you were saying, you're cracking me up, Anosha. She goes, Who collects just rocks and sticks? Me, thank you. And Fiona, she says he's achieved this. Let me show you. This is my little, oops. I got me some incense here. Look at my sticks. These are my Palo Santo sticks. Got me some sage. I got another thing. I got a bunch of
Sage is
rocks over there.
important.
Yeah, I got rocks and crystals. I'm not, hey, you guys, look, listen. I'm not one of those people just post stuff on Facebook and Instagram and it's not real. But rocks and crystals on my window. They're all over the place. Anyway, that could be clutter, but that's not spring cleaning. But those
What's happening around me is definitely clutter.
Yeah, but but I think for me it's doing stuff that brings me doing things that bring me more joy and spending time with people that bring me more joy. And somebody had asked me this, Lonnell. They were like, gosh, it's like, you know, what do you and Lonnell hope to do with YOLO with ToLo and blah blah blah? And I'm like, you know what, I'm just honestly, if we have 1 viewer or 1 million viewers, I just want at least that one person to like have some sort of impact and say, you know what, my life was better. I feel better. I moved to another country because of you, or I, you know, started fasting because of you. Shut up. Your face. Every time I say fasting, you're like,
oh my God, it's just making me more hungry, but go ahead.
So it's like Timothy said, okay, his is mine is health, setting healthy boundaries, getting over myself. You know, it's funny you mentioned that.
I love those.
I love those too. And the funny thing is, I was talking with another good friend of mine, Crystal, earlier. We're having our little brainstorming session here on content. And we were just talking about this whole idea of get over yourself. You know, like, why do things have to be so perfect? She wants to do more YouTube tutorials in kind of like the health and beauty fitness space. Her YouTube channel is Crystal Clues. I hope to come up with that. Clues on how to live your better life. But she was just like, you know, she met with a brilliant, you know, YouTube growth strategist guy that does it for a living in New York. And he was like, constantly push out your stuff to get better, better, better. You're not going to create anything that's perfect. And I think that's what holds us back sometimes. And I want to go back to Fiona has talked to me a lot about like doing your little boy or little girl work of that thing that guides you when you're a little kid. You're playing, right? You're not trying to figure out the how. You just know that when you're doing something that brings you joy, right? And the how reveals itself.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're not trying to make
that
it perfect.
Like scrappy 14, 13-year-old kid that is just creating content that about something that really excites them, and in doing that, that hopefully then ripples out and helps a lot of other people.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Make it work.
Okay, make it work, but make it work for you. You know, you do you.
Make it work for you. That's the key part right there. Make it work for you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Huge proponent of that.
Exactly. Another thing that theme that I feel like has come up a lot with me and you, and with conversations that we've had with actually a lot of people on this thread here. Thanks guys for chiming in. Is, you know, on our show and even in real life, IRL. I've heard. I really recently discovered IRL means in real life in Texas.
In real life. I just learned something today. Okay.
That big. You didn't know that? Okay, I don't feel so bad. But okay, so we often talk about being present, right? In the present moment, that's one of the most important things. And being in the present moment actually helps you achieve that joy you're talking about. Of actually, when Fiona and I were in New York recently, we saw this beautiful tree in Soho. It was gorgeous. It was super tall, and all the leaves have fallen off, but it looked so beautiful and just naturally perfect. And we were like, wow, why isn't anybody geeking out over this? And we must have taken dozens of photos about it. But being in the present moment is super important. So many people are just talking about being in the present moment or reading books about being in the present moment. But how do you and I, let's share some wisdom and get some wisdom from people here and crowdsource this wisdom, is how do we then take action
to make that happen?
To make it happen, yeah.
I'll just use an example today. I went to get a haircut in my barber. A young guy, he's probably, I think he's in his early 30s. He's got a family, a very busy life, and he's doing grad school on the side of all of that. And, you know, he is literally swamped. And he's not like some deadbeat dad. He's very involved in his kid's life. So he's, you know, his schedule is very full, and downright, I get overwhelmed just hearing about it. Mm-hmm. But he said something to me today. Because I was talking about, you know, telling him how I was on vacation and I had this vacation time. And even though I didn't get to go on the planned physical vacation, the trip that I wanted to go on, I still enjoyed my time off. And he said, sometimes, and I said, well, when are you taking a vacation? He says, he's got one planned in June, but he tries to take one every day for a little while in his mind. And he's like, I'll just go out. I go on vacation in my head sometimes, just, to get away from all the clutter. And I thought, how freaking brilliant. Just take a few minutes and go on vacation in your head, whether it be a daydream or whatever it is, wherever you see yourself or however you envision yourself feeling on vacation. And I was like, you're actually pretty smart for a kid. But I thought that was very, very powerful because we can all do that, even if it's just for a minute or two, to just go on vacation.
Wait, who told you that? I got confused. A little kid told you that?
No, my barber. Well, I call him a little kid because he's in his 30s. But
I was gonna say
no, but the barber, yeah, he's like 32 or 33. But I just thought that was just, because we spend so much time worrying or spending our time in fear. But if you can actually go on and take a little mini vacation in your mind for a few minutes each day, that's pretty back to what you were saying about recharging.
I love that. And just thinking about my trip with Fiona recently, we said Fiona and Toan take over the country because we went to New York, Chicago, and LA. First time she had visited from the UK, visited America. And you know what? I feel like just thinking about that trip, even though it was a physical holiday, whenever I connect with her, it's a holiday. Every Wednesday, it's a holiday when I connect with you. Or whenever we're talking and BSing, it's a holiday. Holiday. Anyway,
I don't have that time. Yeah. And it's just important, but so many of us don't make time to do that.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. Timothy says, I love that, Lonnell Williams. Take a few minutes of vacation in your mind every day. I think every morning, right when you wake up, here's a shift. One of the things you could do is every morning, once you wake up, 10 deep breaths before you check your phone. Start there. Kevin says, make it manageable. Don't give me side eye either, Lonnell. No, I was kidding.
I'm reading Kevin's comment when I'm looking down here.
Okay, Kevin, why don't you read it?
Like this.
Okay, I need to practice that. Okay. Okay. What did Kevin say?
Make manageable, sustainable goals and have people who can keep you accountable.
Ooh, yes.
That's very good.
Yes, that's really good. And I want to add another thing too is then take those baby steps. Take those baby steps. If your baby step is 10 breaths in the morning, start there. If it's 10 breaths in the morning, then afternoon, start, and then continue doing that for the next week or month. And then go to morning, noon, and night. And then quite often you'll start just like being more mindful. And I've practiced that. Somebody recently said, I haven't seen you get super pissed off, like, or like fly off the handle ever. And I was like, you know what? I don't remember the last time, because right when my blood starts boiling, if somebody's cutting me off or flipping me off when we're driving or whatever, no matter who it is, stranger, I don't know, some crazy person, I'm just like, well, you know what? I feel myself sometimes like your heart just starts reacting. You know what? Instead of like reacting, giving them that power to make your blood boil, just bless them and be like, I don't know where you're going today. Maybe you're rushing. Maybe you or somebody else got diagnosed with something. I don't know what's going on in your life, but I'm going to send you love. But going back to that breath really helps. Once I start feeling that shortness of breath or that like heart palpitations, I'm like, breathe. Yeah.
And I tell you, there's a great app. There's the Breathe app. It reminds me, it'll go off and then it's like, okay, you stop right then. And it reminds me, it goes for a minute. So however many breaths it does in a minute, deep breaths within a minute.
Is that your iPhone? I mean,
and it's the Apple Watch, but it's the Breathe app, but I'm sure it's on every kind of smartwatch.
Okay.
But it'll come out whatever you tell it to. You tell it ahead of time how you want to be reminded to breathe, and I do, and I'll literally stop and do those breaths. And if after a minute I'm still like, okay, I need 10 more, you can it's almost like a snooze function where you can get to go again for another minute. Yeah. And it will come on several times a day, and it is extremely helpful because it just removes you from whatever chaos you're in. I've done it everywhere.
Okay, I gotta try that app. Breathe.
Okay. Just go breathe.
Jennifer says, "Ooh, that's good. I'm gonna try that too. 5 minutes every day." Okay, we're gonna hold you.
Yes, Miss Jen, you need it 5 minutes every day. Go on vacation somewhere lovely.
We're gonna hold you accountable for that, and it's cheaper too. It's better for the budget, right?
It is much better for the budget.
Yeah, the mental break. Fiona says, "Breathe and connect to yourself. The power is with you."
It is.
Yeah. Okay, present moment's telling me to move on now to segment 3. Talk to ToLo. This is where we get your questions. If you guys, for those of you guys watching, if you have any questions, feel free to chime in. We have a couple here from people, but before we go to there, Timothy's wrapping up that segment with keep an open mind, listen to the whispers of your inner voice. Spirit always knows when you need time out. Okay?
Spirit always knows when you
Yes.
need time out.
Yes. And a spirit will also knock you down and you
Right. When you don't listen, spirit will get your attention and win in the end anyway.
All right, cool. So let's jump to talk to ToLo. Okay, question 1 is you both have been what? Let me slow my roll. You both have been through a lot of grief and loss. What has losing loved ones taught you?
Wow.
Let me take a breath before I answer that.
Definitely so. Losing loved ones has taught me, one, that 2 things actually. Life is meant to be lived. And I need to live every day like my last because it very well could be. But it's also taught me, especially the friends that I've lost in the recent years have been young. It is, and even going back to my grandmother, it's taught me that life is a continuum. Because my grandmother's presence still shows up in my life every single day. So even though she's not here physically, there's something that has happened or that is around me in my experience that lets me know that she is still here. And the same thing.
The lessons too. The lessons that she's taught you also continue to live on.
Oh, definitely so.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely life is a continuum, and live every day like it's your last. It really, because I don't want to. When I'm done, it's not. I don't want the woulda, coulda, shoulda. Oh well, he was trying to do that. No. He did that. That's what you can put on my little headstone. He did that.
Yeah. Oh, he's still doing that.
Okay, right. But yeah, I believe life
true.
That's what it's taught me, is that life is a continuum.
That's really beautiful. Timothy here says, life is a gift, not a privilege. True that. It's taught me to live my life each day with love and kindness. Hashtag love and stuff. Ooh, I love that. I think that death actually has taught me to live more.
Amen, church.
That's what it's taught me. It's taught me to be in the moment more. When I'm here talking to you, I'm here talking to you. I'm not looking around trying to look at my phone. Unless I have like to check my time or like I have a meeting to go to or something or I'm on a deadline. When I'm eating with people, the phone is either in my bag or put face downs. Just being more present. Just like those little life hacks are really important. Fiona says here, keep an open heart and breathe and live it with true love and intention. That's wisdom right there. There is a thin veil between your worlds. Ooh.
And I like what Jennifer says. It has taught me to love harder.
Ooh.
Love with abandon and not fear. All right, Miss Jen.
Okay. The wisdom runneth over today, y'all.
Right. I need the notes from this show.
I know, right?
I'm going to have some more affirmations to put up on my mirror.
Yeah, right? We need to rewatch this, too. And one thing that's funny, you were talking about affirmations in your mirror, and I'm talking about my rocks and sticks and incense, but we actually, like, practice it and live it. And that is the key right here. Take those baby steps and actually start doing it. And for me, too, like, I have next to my bedside, I have a photo, one of my favorite photos. I can cry thinking about it, but it was me in the refugee camp. I was, like, probably, like, a year old. And it was my paternal grandmother, Ama, like holding me, and we looked like we just like were rolling in the dirt, and like it just we just looked super poor, but our eyes were filled with so much joy. And I put that there because every morning it's right by my gratitude journal on my mantle in my bedroom, and those things remind me. So if you need the life hack, whether it's a Breathe app, whether it's a photo of someone you love in your wallet every time you're making a transaction or opening it up, it's there. Maybe it's on your phone. I don't know, maybe whatever way you could, have those little subtle reminders to be more in the present moment. It's super important. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin, why'd you go up in my room? This is a photo.
Aww.
See, that's little boy T. That's me.
How cute is that?
I know, right? He did not know a thing, but I love that color that he had on right there. Anyway, so yeah, that's my grandma with her gold tooth. And I'm gonna try to make it straight. But yeah, this is what like it is all about. This connection,
Yeah.
and that connection is always with me, even though my maybe apartment may look nicer or I've seen more things in the world because I've been able to travel more. But like this is Ama, and she's taught me so much about what we're talking about now, and
Right.
that's why this is so sacred. This is not like, oh, we're making this up, we're trying to do this, that, and the other, try to make money off of this. It's just like this is so sacred, you guys. And for me, spending time with people I love is so important. So it's not, oh, I don't have time. It's make time, figure
Make
out
the
a
time.
way.
And
Yes.
you've got to constantly immerse yourself in it. Is what I tell, I have to remind myself. It's not like you get a lesson once and then you go. I'm actually just starting another book called and Health, Happiness, and Prosperity for You. It's a book I picked up at church this week because I just need another reminder to stay in this prosperity consciousness
Okay.
and this health consciousness. So I always find out if I'm studying stuff or if I'm reading or immersing myself, and I've got my like daily meditations. When I have all of that stuff, it constantly reminds me to actually do the work
Yes.
each day. And
Yes.
that's what you're talking. That reminds you to stay engaged each and every day, especially on days when it is extremely hectic in your life.
Yep. Exactly. And you know what I've started doing for friends or people that I know that may be in a busy work project or going through a stressor in their lives, I'll just send them a little love when I think about them. Like I'll just send a message, breathe, or hashtag like breathe or love you or, remember whatever, that little secret thing that we have. Remember the seashell or the starfish or whatever, that based on a conversation we had. But
Yes.
we need those reminders.
Yes.
And that is what really life is all about. Because when we die, our bank accounts are still going to be there, whether it's in the red
For somebody else to spend.
or green. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you
Right.
don't have estate planning, it's the government.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's not living, people.
Yep. Yep. Amen. So Kevin put Reverend Ike's Secrets for Health, Happiness, and Prosperity for You. Wait, what is that a book? What book is
That's
that?
the book I'm reading. Oh
Lonnell's.
no,
Okay. Thank you for
that's
posting that, Kevin. Yeah.
thank
Okay.
you, Kevin.
I know Kevin's on it.
But yeah,
Oh.
that's so yeah, I mean that's just so there's just different for me it's like I've got to constantly immerse myself, and when I'm home for extended periods of time I love taking classes at my church because those to me those are more impactful than like the Sunday service because you're literally that's actually how I met Jennifer, but that you literally are making a connection on a more intimate level and you're really being held accountable for the principles that you're learning and each week. So yeah, you've got to find some way to do that every day. Or regularly, some way to stay engaged.
And
in the
if you
process.
need to, yeah, if you need to set a reminder on your phone or put it on your calendar, like
Whatever,
you
because
said,
you know you're going to be on the phone.
yeah,
Yes.
put you on the calendar. Question number 2 is, I love the get busy or get busy living or get busy dying. How do you get out of your head, out of that funk and fear mode and start living your fullest life?
Just do it, honey.
Yeah.
You just do it. You just.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a particular formula for that, but really, that whole get busy living or get busy dying. If you just that's a choice you have to make.
Yes.
Each day. So when you wake up in the morning, it's like, you know what? What am I going to do today? Am I going to move in the direction of death and nothingness, or am I going to move in the direction of life and love?
Yep. Exactly. And you know what?
Am I going to live?
Yeah. Somebody had mentioned to me too, well, it's easy for people to say that like they have a lot of money or whatever and they don't have to worry about that. But I'm just like, you know what? Everybody has their own worries. People with money have their own money worries. People with no money have their own money worries. But this is the point, is that once you have that worry and you know that it's going to shorten your lifespan, or already it's taken maybe a few seconds or a few hours or a few days, for some people a few years or decades out of your life, you can rewrite that. And you could say, well, I have this debt, or I don't like this relationship that I'm being abused in, and do something about it. You shift and say, you know what? I can figure out how to pay my bills and put my focus on that versus because worry doesn't do anything for you and me,
It just made it worse.
Yep. Absolutely. Amen to that.
Just makes it.
But you know what does? Yeah, Timothy says, love you both, and I'm grateful for this show and the knowledge. We are grateful for you too. Thank you so much. Jennifer Green says, when the pain of not doing is greater than the pain of where you are, you move.
Amen.
Chill.
All right, Jennifer.
Preach, sister. I know, right? I know one thing that we need to do less of so that we have more time to enjoy life is digitally detox, boo.
Detox.
Okay, so honestly, how you doing in your digital detox? It's been another huge kind of topic of conversation with people lately for me.
Yeah, I'm doing better. I'm steady, I should say. This past week, the week that I was in the bed on, I was on the phone a lot more than I would have necessarily been because I was trying to pass the time. But I was still doing computer work as well on a separate device for work. So I don't know. It's been steady. I haven't lost much, but I haven't necessarily made any gains. But the steps that I've taken so far, I'm still conscious of it and aware, and I work on it pretty much daily, trying to. Like, I'm going to dinner tonight, and with a friend of mine. So we have the no phones at the table rule, and we're both like, he's a techie, and I'm like on my social too much. So
Yeah.
doing a sushi encounter, it's like phones down.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it just takes like little baby steps like that. And speaking of food, I think that a conversation I had recently that I totally agree with is that, again, any sort of diet, like people say digital diet, it doesn't work. What kind of diet, if there's anybody that's ever been on a diet, like tell me if it worked, because I want to know what it is, and probably you'll be a multi-billionaire. Instead, I like to think of it as a lifestyle shift or a lifestyle change. And that's exactly what you're talking about here. Phones down, phones in your bag. When I'm with my niece and nephew, like, I also make sure my phone isn't accessible, as well, easily accessible. It's in my bag, or it's just not somewhere where I could easily grab it and look at it. I put it in another room and just have that kind of one-on-one time. But any way that you could create the hack, and the hacks are different for everybody, because some people can have, bless their hearts, some people have the willpower to put their phone next to their bed and not check it all night. Wait, side eye.
Not me. I'm like,
but I put my phone here in my living room most of the nights, and I don't like that energetic kind of Wi-Fi cellular stuff buzzing all around me. And when I'm writing in my gratitude journal or I'm reading, I just feel more focused. Otherwise, I'm so ADD. I'm like, okay, paragraph. What did I just read in that paragraph? Hold on, let me check to see if if anybody did whatever on Instagram, And I think that I think that's a great place to start. It's just like intermittent fasting, which you should try, is could be also a lifestyle.
Okay, I'm gonna intermittent fast in between my courses tonight at sushi.
Well, hey, it's a start.
I'm gonna fast between courses. No.
Yeah, right. Let's start. I love this conversation so much. Our time is running out pretty soon, but whether you guys at home or Lonnell, let's maybe wrap up with some. What are your takeaways? What are some ToLo takeaways that you have in terms of living instead of dying right now?
Yeah, I love what some of the things that people were saying in here today, especially like what Jennifer just said at the end about the pain of not doing is greater than the pain of where you are. You have to move. That's just and even for me, it hits me in a different way. Even though it's not necessarily the trigger is not necessarily a pain, but it's definitely something in my life that I need to realign, and that actually applies, because it's like, no, these are not syncing up and adding up, so it is time to move on.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I needed that. Thank you, Miss Jen.
I know, right? So here that we not only try to share our wisdom with each other, like Lonnell and I, and with you guys, but we love to crowdsource the wisdom, and that's the one beautiful thing about social media and the times that we're not detoxing and using it to better our lives. But I'm going to take a page book out of Miss Jennifer Green's wisdom well here. When the pain of not doing is greater than the pain of where you are, move. That's, I got the chills just reading that. So thank you for that. That was one of the best gifts. Yeah. Right? And it's always a gift to talk to y'all at home, and with you, Lonnell. Thank you so much. I know,
Thank you. I will see you next week. I'm going to have some sushi.
But I want you guys to think of at least like just a couple things you could do to start taking action and start living more instead of dying. You know, like, because every day that you're not doing what you love and you are succumbing to the worry and the fear, you are dying a little bit inside. So that's some food for thought.
Absolutely.
Now I need to find me some lunch because guess what? My fast ends at 3, boo.
Well, you
See you
have
guys
fun.
later. All right,
I'll
bye.
see you. Bye, guys.